morning, everybody. I had a couple people reach out to me yesterday asking me if I could do another video on the beach. And so here I am doing another video. And this time I'm not walking, I'm sitting down so that the camera isn't so bouncy and so that you can enjoy this beautiful backdrop here. The sun is coming up, it's about 7:15 or so, and I want to speak with you today about energy. Where the water meets the land, there's an immense amount of energy. That's why a lot of times when people go to the beach, they feel so replenished on top of the vitamin D that you get from the sun. So why am I here and why am I doing this? Number one, we're out of lockdown in South Florida, or at least in my area. And so I want to share this with people that don't have the opportunity to either be next to a beach and or are still in lockdown. And that's number one. Number two, energy is behind me, all around us, and in us. And so why do I say in us? Because we are electromagnetic energy. And we each vibrate. You know, you hear about, oh, I feel a vibe, a vibe, a vibe, a vibe. Well, it's a vibration. And it's scientifically proven that we are all vibrating at different frequencies. So for me to expect you to believe in everything that I say, I'm vibrating at a certain frequency, and you have your free will, and you're vibrating at your frequency, so you can believe whatever you want and or not. I'm not here to force anybody. I'm not here to tell you what to do. But what I am here to do is for us to garner a greater understanding of each other so that there's not such a divide, such a separation, such polar opposites. And yes, I know there's shadow feelings and shadow, you know, and the yin and yang in life and dark and light. So I want to acknowledge that as well. But somehow there could be a middle ground in between where we can come together. A lot of people are very angry right now and frustrated and swearing and just being very foul in their energy. Number one, we're hurting you. In other words, if you're getting angry, if you're getting frustrated, you're hurting nobody else, your immune system. You're hurting yourself on a cellular level. And this isn't just guru stuff, this is tried, true, and proven. Please do your independent research. Again, if anything that I say doesn't resonate with you, do your independent research. So if we're hurting ourselves, then where's our self-love? And I'm not trying to attack us, but many of us, including myself, deal with self-love issues. So here we are, frustrated, and we're dealing with a vibrational frequency that is not getting us to the life that we want. Well, there's going to be a massive global awakening that's happening right now, and it's been happening for about a week, or actually I should say for many of us years in our whole lives, but really a global shift where the consciousness is shifting on this planet for about the past 2.5 months, where a lot of people are starting to question the authorities and trying to understand what is going on. Not trying to be combative, but just trying to understand why this is happening and what is going on. So I want to stay with us today inside a space and a zone and an energy frequency of collaboration and peace. And a lot of you might say, oh, I've heard that, been there, done that. But let's try it again. You know, a lot of us have been down the same roads. We go to work and we go down the same roads. Well, let's take this road of understanding, of unity, of peace again, because it will help us create a higher source of greater consciousness. So a tip, if you want to meditate, I think it's very helpful to meditate. Why do I say that? Because it allows us to just be in a space of greater relaxation and peace. And that is a place where many of us are not these days. Many of us are on the internet, we're fighting and we're arguing and we're spending so much of our chi, so much of our energy really upset and really frustrated. And that's hurting you on a cellular basis. So Again, hopefully that helps to meditate. And yes, you've heard that so much, but even if it's just for 5 minutes. And what is meditation? Sitting still and allowing your mind to be as blank as possible, just allowing your thoughts to just sort of flow into an abyss. And if you can't do that, that's okay. Practice. Practice makes better. I don't say perfect, but practice makes better. So that's step number 1. Step number 2 is acknowledge the fact if you are frustrated easily or if you are getting angry, just acknowledge the fact that that's happening to you so that you can self-correct. And if you know that it's harming your immune system, and if you know that it's not helping you but it's hurting you, they both start with an H but they lead you to polar opposites, then find a way for you to be able to get more into balance. There is an awakening, as we spoke of, and it's a global truth of what's going on. If you start to do some of your independent thinking, which millions and millions of people are doing right now, you're going to start to see that what you thought was might not be. And it's all about being in truth, being in the present, being in the now, but also being in a greater understanding. So if we get accustomed to the habit of being angry, or we get accustomed to the practice of being frustrated, it becomes a habit, and we don't know how to necessarily get ourselves out of that habit. So here's a tip: awareness. We cannot solve a problem unless we know that an issue, I'm not going to say a problem, but an issue exists. And yes, it is an issue. If you're hurting yourself through frustration and anger, it's an issue we have to correct, if you so choose through your free will, obviously. So how are we going to do that? Well, some people are going to say, well, by changing the political situation, or by stopping global warming, or by it's like this barrage and attackment. Shh. Take a deep breath from all of that chaos and all of that stress and all of that, that anger. Just for just a moment, try to let it go and come from a space of just being. That is where we start. Just be. Deep diaphragm breathing, where you breathe in through your nose and exhale all of that stress out of your mouth. In my stress blasting classes, that's the one thing that we do, is we work on breath very intensely. People, you could see the expressions on their faces just completely change in just an hour. So this work doesn't take long. It's really very much of a quantum style healing, where our mind and a lot of our lives happen between our ears. And if we can let what happens between our ears just go, then we're going to be a lot better in the long run. So it's a practice. We have to take baby steps. We can't just shoot up the ladder, but at least we've generated an awareness and a way to be able to tranquilizar, tranquilize, relax, reduce the stress, reduce the anger, reduce the frustration, reduce the chaos. All right? So again, it's about unity. It's about coming together. Artists have been talking about it, from John Lennon to George Michael to Bob Marley. It's been around for so long. And our society will truly be unified when we can understand that we, the people, are one. We are truly one people, free and void of separation, of anger, of frustration, of humiliation, of stress, of anxiety. We, the people, are one. Thank you so much for listening to me, and thank you so much for your time. If any of this resonates for you as truth, please join us. We have a tribe that is growing, that is all about resonating truth on this planet and becoming bigger, better, brighter people. I have a YouTube channel. It's called Sabrina Barnett. And I look forward for us to just be able to be friends and to be able to unite and change the consciousness of humanity together as one, with love and deep and beautiful, great peace.